Every day, Scott sits on his garden bench with his morning coffee to take in the view. But he's scared those days are numbered. Storms and swells are eating away at the beach, and soon his bench, and perhaps his home, will be in the ocean.
The bank collapses continuously after every high tide when there's swell.
Well, it's everything. It's memories. It's our life. Now we're really worried.
Beachside living, it's the Aussie dream, but these residents are just metres from disaster, fearing the next big storm could take them out.
We don't have many storms left in us, especially my neighbour that's on the side here. He's probably got one good storm in him. We've probably got two or three and we're gone.
It's only going to be a matter of time before my house goes in the drink too, at this rate.
Scott Lang has lived at North Entrance on the New South Wales Central Coast his whole life, but now he fears for its future.
We've had East Coast lows, we've had flood events, we've lost the sand and it unfortunately hasn't recovered.
Scott says the local council used to dredge the lake behind them and dump the sand back on the beach, but that stopped nearly a decade ago, and the ramification now is clear to see. You're about to fall into the ocean here.
Just about. I had 25 metres of sand in front of this sea. Now I've got, what, 3 metres?
This is what the beach used to look like. Large patches of front lawns rolling down to the breaking waves. Now the patches of grass are falling down a 10-metre drop.
But the guys up this end of the beach, they're in strife, immediate danger. So we've got to get some action going on.
So your property ends right down there where the water's now hitting?
Yeah, that's where we're paying our land taxes to.
Paul Green has lived in his unit for 22 years. His daughter got married on the front lawn and there was plenty of room for everyone. Now it's disappeared and he fears his home could be next.
It's our property, we want to save it, and the last thing we want is it falling in the ocean. We're not here asking for handouts or anything, we just want a guidance from the local council or the state government to actually give us permission to be able to go there and save the properties.
The residents have pleaded with the state government and local council for permission to build a rock wall, but have been met with silence.
It's not the money, it's the love, you know what I mean? What you give it and you want to keep it. We want to save it. We're not after a handout, we just want to get on there and do it.
A rock wall was installed by the council in 2020, but was washed away soon after.
There was an engineer's report that said what height it should be built, and they stopped about halfway.
Eve Cristani lives in the same unit block as Paul.
When I purchased this place, of course, all the proper inquiries were made, and this was guaranteed not to happen within the next 100 years.
This is the map of the 2017 modelling Eve is talking about. The red line is the immediate hazard line, which wasn't supposed to be reached for 100 years. The yellow line is where the erosion currently is.
I'm really pretty concerned that we're going to be fishing out our back doors. Actually, I imagine we're going to be evacuated and we won't even be able to go into our homes.
Of course, they're not the only residents dealing with eroding coastlines. Over the past few years, the East Coast has copped a battering. Homes were left teetering at Warnborough on the Central Coast in 2020. On Sydney's northern beaches at Collaroy, pools have slipped into the ocean, while recently, Cyclone Alfred left its mark on the Gold Coast.
I think, if anything, it might get worse into the future, and unfortunately, being a complex issue, it's not something we can predict easily.
Professor Javier Leon is an expert in erosion. He says we need to stop building along danger zones and says authorities need to consider buybacks.
We're treating from those areas prone to erosion. So that includes, for example, buybacks of properties, or definitely stop any new development happening on those areas.
What would you say to people that argue, you know, it was your choice to buy so close to a beach?
People have been allowed to build here, and they rightly have a right to expect that their houses don't fall into the sea.
That's it, it's a home. It's not a house, it's a home. We made it that.
Council says it's working with the state government for a clear and consistent strategy to manage coastal erosion. Well, those homes are one storm away from being in the water, so hurry up.